This morning, I want to give you a few principles in this familiar story that I think is going to give you confidence in winning some battles of life. The first thing that I want to tell you, that you have to learn how to have a healthy relationship with unhealthy people. I'm going to give you time to think about that one. You've got to learn how to have healthy relationships with unhealthy people. Yeah. See, great relationships have to be built on more than just community and commonality. I want you to notice the wording of the text. We got Saul and Jonathan, who are father and son, got a whole lot in common. But one day, Jonathan, son of Saul, said to his young armor bearer, let's go. Let's get up out of here. We ain't got to go home, but we getting up out of here. And one day, Jonathan, son of Saul, said to this armor bearer, let's get them out of here. Let's go. And it's almost as if, let's go where? Let's go away from them. Yeah, he's been with his daddy, following his daddy's direction, but he knows now his daddy has a different mindset about fighting the enemy. So instead of settling in with somebody who's scared to fight, and even instead of trying to convince them to come fight with him, he said the best thing we can do is let them stay there when we're going to go over here. That Jonathan is willing to disconnect himself from the person he has more in common with than anything in the world. Let me tell you something. There may come a season where you have to disconnect from somebody who's always been there in your corner. If you were to read the preceding chapter, you will discover that Saul and Jonathan have been in a battle previous to this one. Already with these Philistines, they have shared some battles in previous chapters. They have done some things together in previous chapters. Oh, yeah, with me today? They have fought some things together in previous chapters. They have talked through some things together in previous chapters. But Jonathan, going his own way, lets me know that there comes a time that even a shared pain or a shared past should not keep you where it's time to move from. I just need two of y'all to go with me. That Jonathan moved on because his father was not willing to move forward. Yeah, and fight together. You don't need nobody on your side who doesn't have fight in them. I think y'all sleepy, so let me say that one more time. Y'all hung over from that daylight savings time from last Sunday. You don't need anybody on your side who does not have fight in them. Because every day of your spiritual life is going to be a battle. And there's not one day where the enemy is going to take a lunch break or go on vacation from trying to mess with your life. He's not throwing in a white flag. He's not surrendering. He's not running. So you need to make sure everybody in your space, everybody in close proximity of your life got some fight in them. Help me, Holy Ghost. Let me help you out. Listen, when you was in the club, now that you're still in the club, but you claim you're not in the club, I made sure of one thing before I stepped in there, that I had some people with me that knew how to throw them things. Because I see y'all acting bougie. I'm going to come find you. Because you didn't know, you getting your dance on, but if something just happens to pop off, are you with me, Sister Clara? Then I know I got a posse with me who is willing to throw them things to make sure that we intact. Right? You with me? The same thing should apply in your spiritual life. You've got to know that there's still an enemy around, that while you're still partying, remember I told you God don't want you to stop partying, just change parties. That while you're still in this Holy Ghost party, there's somebody who might be willing to try you, named Satan. But you've got to have some people around you who are willing to throw them things. Y'all ain't with me today. That if something just happens to pop off, yeah. You can make sure you've got a fighting chance. So we see Saul was living in fear. Saul was living in fear and decided to retreat. So Jonathan didn't have the spirit of fear on him. So you've got to learn to go with what's in your heart and what God puts in your spirit, and then separate yourself from anybody carrying a spirit that doesn't have the potential like yours. That if I really want to live in joy, I don't need to be hanging out with depressed folk. It's so simple, you missed it. If I want to live in joy, I don't need to hang out with negative folk, negative all the time. If I want to live in expectation, I don't need to hang out with people who have fatal flaws. I need folk around me who's mature enough, whose spirit will not contaminate my spirit, because my spirit is getting me where I need to be. Oh, y'all listening to me? I'm halfway there. Can you believe it? Not only that, notice what else Jonathan did. He says, let's go over to the Philistines' outpost on the other side. And he didn't tell his daddy. He knew not to tell his father. Remember, his father was scared. His father ain't trying to fight nobody. His father is not trying to conquer anything. The king now. And remember, if the Philistines defeat Israel, then the Philistines will force Israel to worship polytheistic gods. And Saul is not willing to go fight to the glory of God. He's not willing to go fight to get the victory. He's not willing to go fight to get the Philistines to quit messing with them. He ain't trying to fight. So Jonathan, who's got fight in him, decides he ain't gonna say nothing to his father. Why share your dreams and your decisions and your goals and your aspirations with somebody who ain't trying to go in the same direction as you? So thank you for the 4.5 claps. So if that's true, why you still with old boy? You didn't see me coming, did you? I'm going to leave you alone. If you know somebody who's not trying to go in the same direction as you, doesn't have the same get up and go as you, don't have the same faith as you, don't have the same spirit of expectation as you, don't have the same joy as you, don't have the same drive as you, you don't tell your dreams to everybody. Touch your neighbor and tell them, be careful who you tell it to. Y'all sleep. That was the wrong neighbor. They still hung over. Tell somebody else, be careful. Be very careful who you tell it to. My fifth grade teacher told me loose lips sink ships. Sometimes you got to be quiet. You can't tell everything to everybody. Am I right, Sister Moore? Is that right? Thank you. You're the only friend I got here. See, the problem with many of us is that we keep sharing info 401 with the wrong people. So you sharing it with people who don't have your best interests at heart. And so because of their spirit, they began to do everything they can to try to talk you out or cut you off or burn bread, as they say, on your stuff. And the minute you know it's God and they start talking against it, you got to walk away. You've got to get out of there. You got to stop dealing with them.